Social loafing is another group problem that we have to pay attention to. Social loafing refers to the reduction in effort by individuals when they work in teams as compared to when they work by themselves. Some of the employees in the team, they will intentionally reduce their responsibility in the group. They want to hide in the crowd because they consider that even though they do not contribute, others will make the contribution. So that's why do they bother need to take an effort and contribute to the team? This is what we call social loathing. However, social loathing is likely and less likely happen when individual performance seen as important to the team performance. And when excellent group performance leads to the value outcome, and so it is likely to reduce social loafing effects. Besides that, if everyone's contribution is visible, and so it is easily identified by the others, and it is likely will reduce the social loafing problem. And of course, ideally, if the group size is smaller and everyone's contribution is very easy to identify, in such a case, everyone's performance becomes very crucial to the team performance and also is valued in the team outcome. In this situation, social loathing problem is less likely occurred. The next issue is the social influence and group conformity. In some teams, the teams will create a context for social influence which can lead to conformity. In some situation, the team members will follow what others do. So that's why they will conform and to become a cohesive members in the team. And of course, it may not be a good thing because they lost their own personal value. They also lost their own personal opinion. It doesn't mean that it must be good. Sometimes it really helped to reduce the team performance because they lost themselves. These videos tell you about the social influence and group conformity. Please take a look and watch all these videos. The next problem is groupthink. Groupthink is a phenomenon that occurred when a group of the individuals reaches a consensus without critical reasoning or evaluation of the consequences or the alternative. It comes and happen that in this the employees they may have different thinking, but because they want to be consensus, they want to reach the consensus with other team members. They don't want to become the outliers. So that's why they just suppress their own idea and to follow what others say. And this is what we call the group thing. Groupthink indeed is a phenomenon where people tend to conform with the group decision to avoid feeling outcast. But in some of the situation, in most of the situation, it will leading to error in the decision making. So this is not good for the work performance actually. Although on one hand, groupthink will drive for consensus, however, it will also create a situation that become unchallenged the poor quality decision making. If the team is dominated by someone who has made the bad decision, and the team will become disaster because no one will challenge that poor quality decision. Groupthink tend to arise where the team is cohesive. And so earlier on, we talked about if there is too high level of the team cohesion, and probably this may not be a good side because no one is going to challenge your team members. They feel shy, they feel embarrassing to challenge sometimes, and so that's why they will create the problem of groupthink. It may also happen when it involves someone, probably the team leader, who is dominate. But if the team leader is not capable enough in making a good decision, and so it will become very, very bad to the team. Sometimes the team members may also under pressure to reach a consensus decision. For example, like the time pressure or some tasks that everyone thinks important or having the similar opinion. So in this situation, those particular individual, they're embarrassing to challenge other group members' opinion. It will create the problem of groupthink. This is one of the typical and classical example of groupthink, the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Many of the senior officers at the Pearl Harbor did not take warning from the Washington D.C. that Japanese is going to bomb Pearl Harbor, even though the Japanese message has been intercepted. Those who did not take actions believed that the Japanese wouldn't dare to attempt an attack against the United States, even though some of the members, some of the officers, they want to take the opinions against with other team members because they're only the minority. They want to maintain the cohesion in the team. So that's why they are not taking up the positions to against their team members. And finally, it created a problem because really Japanese, they bombed Pearl Harbor. So again, this is the problem of groupthink. Some of the individuals, even though they have different opinions, but they are hesitate to say so. That's why to follow the conformity of the team decision. This is the problem of groupthink. And here are some of the famous cases of groupthink. And you can have a look, and then you can get the ideas what are the problem of the groupthink. In what situation and condition that the group things would happen. In some of the groups, because they have to face the time pressure and stress, and so they have to do the quick decision, they cannot allow the time to have a different opinions, discussion, so that's why we will create the problem of groupthink. Besides that, in some of the team, because they have a very high level of cohesiveness and identity, so the team members, they hesitate to take the challenge and initiative to make different opinions. Sometimes they also are isolated from other sources. They can only receive the information from team members. So that's why they will easily occur the problem of groupthink. Also, in some contexts, because the leader are very directive and authoritarians, and they do not allow the employees to discuss their opinions. That's why we also create the problem of groupthink. When groupthink occurred, and it means that the employees, they just maintain the group norms. They are also very little to search for the new information, just believe that this is the morality of the group members. And also, they will think that it is not good to challenge others. So that's why eventually, probably it may not be the best decision to the team. They just follow what others think, and very likely will create the bad and poor decision making. That's why, as the organization point of view, we have to do something in order to reduce groupthink and conformity. For example, like leaders, probably they work as the coordinator, facilitators, instead of the decision maker. They have to allow the employees, the team members to participate in the decision making, and they have to openly discuss their opinion before making the final decision. They also need to strengthen the self-confidence of the minority members. Minority members, because they don't want to become the outlier, the outgroup member. So we also need to give them the confidence to speak out. That's why, as you can see that UK has done a very good job in this. In many companies, including like university or the big company, they always protect the rights for the minority members. They provide the rights for them to voice out, to sit into the important management position, so that to give them a voice. Organizations need to also take into the consideration and account view of external experts. Sometimes we have to bring in some external members, so in order to give them a fresh idea and perspective in decision making. They also need to implement some constructive conflict, and they have to appoint someone to become the devil and to point out others or the team's decisions problem. And they also need to facilitate the individual responsibility for the decision process and outcome. We have to consider different people's contribution and their responsibility. We also need to create different subgroups. The group cannot be too big. The subgroups can also engage in the same decision-making task. And then we'll exchange ideas and we'll try to make a decision together. Sometimes we may also consider to include the second chance meeting to review critical decision so that we'll to have a refreshment on the decision to have a look whether this is the best or the good decision or not. Lastly, I hope you can work on this exercise, the Big 5 personality test in Blackboard, to discuss with your friends or family members about the differences in your and their personality, and further have a discussion about the potential problem may have when they interact and live with you in regard of this personality difference. You can find some evidence in it. I hope that you enjoyed this section. If you have any question, just feel free to ask. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.